Well, good morning. It's a sunny morning and it's time for a Bulblog video diary garden walk with me and Miss Molly. It's bright, but it's breezy and there's so much going on since the last video I shot in the wider garden. The Corydalis are appearing. So we've got Corydalis solida, the pinks and the reds, and the white is Corydalis malcensis. There's all sorts happening. Snowdrops, of course. They're still here and still in flower, dancing about in the wind, which is really how you want to see them, because that wind shakes the pollen down. And then just moving along, there's groups of the Dutch crocus. We've got so much coming through. Like we've got lovely erythronium, coming to be erythronium time. And there's a dark form of Erythronium dense canis just coming out. Some of the big Dutch crocus. But just look at some of these beautiful little arrangements that happen as plants seed around. All this out here in the gravel. It's not us that's planting it. The plants are planting themselves. They're escaping from the beds. And I just love that. We do have to control it to a degree. It'll soon warm up the colour because at the moment we're mostly seeing the white, creamy white of the Corydalis malcensis. But as the solidas come out, they will warm up the colour because they are mostly pinks, reds and purples. What I do with the Corydalis solida, because it's got a very short growth period, it's coming into rapid growth and full growth now, but in a couple of months it will be back underground. It'll have gone. So it's got a short growth period. So it likes food. So to ensure the clumps stay and they grow quite well, I do tend to go around and put a wee drop of a mixed 7 NPK, so equal portions of a pelletized Growmore or something, just next to where the Corydalis solidas are, and that helps them build up and stay strong and get the food they need in the short growth period. Here in this bed we've got beautiful leaves coming through of erythronium. So these are revolutum hybrids that just appear. Look how they're growing there with the Galanthus nivalis and up behind the hellebores. So as we move across the bed, deep in there, deep in the shade, we have plants there up towards the bulb bed and the rock garden beyond, behind the lantern. Just looking back towards the house. So this is an earlier spring bed with all the snowdrops still looking very good. You'll see from if you read the Bulblog this week, you'll see I do feature some of these, but I don't think there's anything better than seeing them moving in the wind. And that you can't capture on a still camera. Down here the Anemone ranunculoides and the various hybrids coming through. The foliage is that lovely bronze colour when it first comes through, and then it greens up after it's been out for a while. Trilliums, we'll see more of them when we come. It's trilliums, and we'll see over there in the shade Fritillaria imperialis, or Probably one of the Imperialis. I don't think it's Radiana. Just the birds singing. It's nice in this time when we're all having to self-isolate or to try and combat this terrible coronavirus. We're lucky as gardeners that I don't mind self-isolating, being on our own in our garden with so much to enjoy. Just the crocus, it cheers you up. So gardeners, we're fortunate. So we'll head up. We don't often go this way at this time of year because there's not so much until a bit later, but a form of crocus, well, I grew it as Vernus albiflorus, but I think it's albiflorus now. And this is a really vigorous, good form growing here. There's some got out here. So we do allow it to self-seed. You'll see as if I go along here, all the things that are self-seeding. And this massive group of crocus that have self-seeded down from that clump. It's Crocus atticus. Up this entire path. I should call it the Erythronium walk, because in between all the slabs, everywhere you look, the Erythroniums, and these are all seeded. We've not planted these. They've just been allowed to self-seed. And if you look right down, you'll see the tiny seedlings, and every different age, from seed just germinating up to seedlings there with twin leaf and the flower bud pushing up. So Molly loves poking about in the bushes. Now be careful, she is quite careful walking in the garden. She tries not to stand on flowers because she knows she gets into trouble if she does. So some of the area I chopped back shrubs and opened it up, and over the last year or so I've been replanting this spot. So this was one of the first areas I trimmed back and replanted. Created a bit of a mound of earth with using compost from the compost heaps to give the plant something fresh to grow in. And then just planted it up with. So it's coming along nicely. This is a bare area here with not so much in yet. There are quite a few peonies in there, so they'll come through later, but I need to get more bulbs in there. And this area likewise is all recent planting, so. And it's also in the shade, so the snowdrops are a bit behind. They're just opening here. And up the wall. These Salmisias have sprawled out and escaped out onto the path. I mean, this one was originally planted there, and gradually it sprawls and it's sprawled across that area, and now it's mostly growing on the muck in the path. It's created its own soil. As leaves blow out, they get trapped. So leaves get trapped, and then the leaves break down and form a soil. And this soil is just sitting directly on a slab. And look, there's an Erythronium seed trying to germinate. Well, it will germinate and it'll put its little root in there. But it's only growing in a few, well, barely a centimetre and only a few millimetres of the humus-rich soil. More seedlings everywhere. Hey, you can see I like erythroniums. But there's other plants up here as well. Corydalis solidus. Crocus we've planted out. Different forms of crocus. Quite a few of the Thomasinianus. Some of the chrysanthus types, the various hybrids. Really nice clumps of erythronium. These are both revolutum. So there's so much to see. Nice clump here of crocus, Hofleyanus. And we just move around. Narcissus cyclaminius growing here and coming through. You can see there Trillium rivalis coming, and they're coming down the face of my wall. You can see how I'm encouraging them to seed all the way down the wall in between the stones. So a lot of it's repeated elsewhere, all around. A nice area here, nothing rare, nothing fancy, nothing special, just some daffodils and the Dutch crocus, the big giant crocus with some azaleas and grasses, and round to perhaps one of my favourite beds at the moment, where I'm really getting huge amounts of pleasure. This is a new bed by the pond. It's not a big bed, and anyone could create this, but it's planted up with some of my real choice plants. So the Aranthus is guinea gold. If we come down, we can see the white Erythronium caucasicum. So these are all seedlings. There's one being a bit chewed and damaged. So where we get twin leaves and we get a nice flower. But if I come over here, there's plenty more seedlings here that have just got a single large leaf. So that will be big enough to flower next year. There's a little reticulate iris. I don't know which one it is. I don't even remember planting it. It must have been something that was in the seed frames. And it's planted, looking lovely in natural type settings. And then this is the Erythronium dens canis from the Ukraine, the most easterly known range of this species. And it's interesting to me because it's got a different colour pollen. It was the first time when I got these plants and got seed from this area, I was really fascinated that the different colour of pollen and the slightly different shape to the filaments. Again, if you read my bulb log online, weekly bulb log diary, I write about that, describe it, and I'll compare it more with the other Erythronium dens canis as we move along. But this, the new bed by the pond, is such fun. This little corner here, I just brought down into a mini crevice. Primula marginata. Tough and hardy, can stand the harsh environment it's there. The Ramondas, Lots of Ramondas, different kinds. So as we just move round, there's lots more to come in here. There's lots of Erythronium Sibericum, but they're not through yet. You would think Sibericum would be one of the early ones, coming from Siberia as the name suggests, but it's not. I would expect to see it just starting to push through in the next few weeks perhaps. So I suppose that's as good a place as to end this video diary walkabout. I've lost Molly. She's gone away wandering off. She found something interesting. But what interests me just now is the new bed by the pond, so I'm just going to say goodbye now. Thanks for walking with me. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget to read my Bulblog written version that I've been writing for my 18th year now. And you'll find that at srgc.net. So check out that, and I'll see you next time. Bye.